Sputnik 1, a new companion in space. Imagine a cold October night in 1957. A new star was born in the sky of the Earth, but it was not a creation of nature, but man-made. It was Sputnik 1, the world's first artificial satellite. This small metal ball not only orbited Earth, but also changed the history of the entire human race. The time was the 1950s. World War II had ended, but the world had entered a new era of terror, the Cold War. America and the Soviet Union, the two superpowers, each had nuclear weapons capable of destroying the Earth several times over. But their gaze was no longer limited to the Earth's surface. They were looking up at the sky. A silent but fierce battle had begun to see who would conquer the infinite space first. The space race had begun. America had Wernher von Braun, the engineer who built the V-2 rocket for Germany during World War II. But the Soviet Union had a man whose name was unknown even to Soviet citizens. He was called only the chief designer. His real name was Sergei Korolev. Once, this man, who came back from death in a Siberian labor camp under Stalin's wrath, had the greatest dream of conquering space in his heart. Korolev and his team were building the R-7 Semyorka, the world's first intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM. Its main purpose was to drop a nuclear bomb on American territory. But Korolev had a different dream. He was able to convince Soviet Supreme Leader Nikita Khrushchev that if we could send a satellite into space with this same rocket, the whole world would bow to the technological power of the Soviet Union. Work began on building a giant satellite called Object D, but time was running out. The beginning of 1957, news came that America was going to send a satellite into space very soon through their Vanguard project. Korolev realized that if they built a giant Object D weighing 1,000 kilograms, America would reach space first. History only remembers the first. He immediately changed his mind. Drop everything. Build me the simplest, smallest satellite. Within a month, Prostayshchi Sputnik 1, or PS1 for short, was born, which means the simplest satellite. In Russian, its original meaning is fellow traveler or companion. Inside the rocket, a small metal sphere was hidden, Sputnik 1. It was the first artificial satellite in human history, and its design was truly an engineering feat. It was a perfect metal sphere, only 58.5 centimeters or 23 inches in diameter. The small sphere weighed 83.6 kilograms, heavy enough to be sent into space, yet light and efficient in design. Its outer shell was made of AMG6T, an alloy of aluminum, magnesium, and titanium. The shell was only 2 millimeters thick, but it was strong enough to withstand the harsh environment of space. The entire shell was so perfectly polished that sunlight reflected off it and prevented the internal components from overheating. Inside were 3 silver-zinc batteries, which took up more than half of the total weight, about 51 kilograms. These batteries powered 2 radio transmitters, each with a power of only 1 watt. But that small amount of power was what sent the famous beep-beep signal to Earth, the first sound heard from humans from space. 4 long whip antennas were attached to the sphere. They were 2.4 meters and 2.9 meters long. These antennas helped to transmit the signal to Earth and looked like metal branches spreading around a small sphere. The interior of Sputnik 1 was filled with nitrogen gas, and the pressure was 1.3 atmospheres. A barometric switch was installed inside it, which could detect changes in pressure. If a meteorite hit the satellite and punctured it, the pressure inside would decrease. Then the length of the radio signal would change, informing the Earth that the satellite was damaged. In other words, Sputnik 1 was a kind of self-reporter, able to report its own danger to the Earth. Thus, every part of Sputnik 1, the spherical metal shell, the powerful battery, the radio transmitter, the tall antenna, and the pressure-sensitive safety system, all combined to make mankind's first step into space possible.
On October 4, 1957, approximately 295 seconds after launch, Sputnik 1 successfully separated from its R-7 rocket and entered its own orbit. About 96 minutes after launch, it completed its first orbit around the Earth and re-entered the skies over the Soviet Union.
A junior radio operator at the Kamchatka tracking station suddenly heard a strange sound in his headphones. The signal was coming every fraction of a second at a frequency of 20.0005 megahertz. Beep, beep. The scientists in the bunker burst into joy. Sergei Korolev, the unknown chief designer, cried with emotion. Mankind had conquered space. But this little beep had a profound impact on America, even greater than the shock of the atomic bomb. It was called the Sputnik crisis. Americans woke up in the morning to find that a Soviet spaceship was orbiting above their heads. They could hear that beep-beep sound whenever they turned on their radios. Amateur radio operators around the world could pick up this signal from their homes. At dawn or dusk, if you looked at the sky with the naked eye, you would see a bright dot moving rapidly. The average person thought it was Sputnik. In fact, it was the huge core stage of the R-7 rocket, which was orbiting with Sputnik and reflecting sunlight. Sputnik's diameter was so small that even if it reflected sunlight, it would not be visible to the naked eye. Sputnik was not just a radio transmitter, it was a scientific masterpiece. Through it, scientists obtained information that could only be guessed at before. When Sputnik's radio signal penetrated Earth's ionosphere, scientists measured the ionosphere's electron density by observing changes in the signal. Thus, for the first time, reliable information was obtained about the actual structure of Earth's layers. Sputnik's orbit was gradually contracting, which is called orbital decay. By observing this change, scientists were able to determine the density of the upper atmosphere. Previously, this density was only guessed, but Sputnik confirmed that guess with real data. The temperature and pressure inside Sputnik remained stable for a long time. This proved that it was possible to create the technology necessary for human survival in space. In other words, Sputnik was not just a device to send signals into space, but also laid a scientific foundation for future space exploration by mankind. After sending signals to the Earth for 21 to 22 days, Sputnik 1's battery ran out on October 26th. After the signal stopped, it continued to orbit the Earth as a silent companion. Finally, on January 4, 1958, after 92 days in space, 1,440 orbits around the Earth, and covering about 70 million kilometers, Sputnik 1 re-entered the Earth's atmosphere. It burned up like a meteorite due to the intense friction of the air and disintegrated completely. Sputnik 1 is no more today. There are no remains of it left on the surface of the Earth. But that small metal sphere woke mankind up from its slumber that day. America created NASA due to Sputnik's impact. A space race began, as a result of which humans have set foot on the moon, sent Hubble and James Webb telescopes, and even today dream of establishing a settlement on Mars. Sputnik 1 was the first step of the space age, which taught us the sky is not the limit. The sky is a new beginning.